I'm gonna create a stand system. Let me bring that over here. And if you're wondering what this is, it's just a profile service setup that I'm using. I'll link a model to this in the description if you need it. But the only change I want to make to it, and I'll probably include this, is to include a stand value so we can keep track of what stand you have. And I'm just gonna go with star platinum. Of course, I forget how to spell for now. Someone's gonna get mad about that, but that's fine. Okay, so I have star platinum. Alright, now that the template's set up, we need to go ahead and change some things. First, I like R6, so I'm choosing R6. Go ahead and save right after, and now let's go back. Security, and then enable Studio Access to API services, which will let you save data. Might add another thing since I plan for rokas and arrows, so since they usually have an inventory system, I want to save what's in your hotbar. That'll be your hotbar. Actually, let me just go ahead and do separate ones for each one. That way we can save everything. So what's in your hotbar, your inventory, and of course, your bank. And you know what, we'll go so far as stand storage. However, we're going to ignore that for now because we've got the stand variable, which is what we need. And we're going to start on the client side of things. But the first thing we got to do is we got to pull in some animations. You can either re-upload the animations or I'll supply a dummy with all of them loaded onto it for you. So we can get rid of this because that's from a test that I did previously. We have equip and unequip and idle, all this. So pretty much I'm just going to create a new folder to make this even better than the last time I did a test run of this. This one will be star. Aha, here's where I have to come back to this. Star platinum. This will be star platinum. And we'll have the pose in here. And we'll have a folder for all because some of these things don't need new things. So the equip and the unequip would go into all. Star platinum will have the idle. And then we'll do a new folder for basic stand combat. And that'll be this. Because it has nothing to do with specific abilities to Star Platinum. I won't have it in there, just so we can keep this place looking a little bit more organized. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a folder in here. This is for the future. It won't be used in this video, but it's going to be called for FX. And we're going to create a new folder, and this is going to be called stand. Oh, no. Let's call it events. And we're just going to put a remote event there, and where this is going to be stand event. So now that we have the stand event in there, and I'll have this all in a folder, don't worry. All of this will be supplied in the description, so you don't gotta worry about that. Okay, now that we have the event set up, we can actually work on the character, all the local player side of things. Well, the player side of things. We're gonna work on the client first. Hopefully that's okay. So pretty much all I need to do is create a local script here. Sorry. We're going to name this client because most of the client things we'll handle in here. Well, we don't have to call it client. We can call it stands since it's more specific. Alright, I forgot one thing. So create a folder and call this modules and replicated storage. This will just be well, it'll be useful later. We're also going to create a module script under this. Some people would not like this, but I don't care. It works, and it's how I'm going to be playing the animations. That way the animations don't cloud up my local script. So this one will be for stand. We won't need a combat module script yet. I will add that. We're also going to go ahead and create another module script in here. Well, another local script. This will be for the client replication. Future thing, won't use it now. We're just going to call this replicator. And we're going to go ahead and pop a module script in there. And we're going to call this effects. That's where everything will be loaded. And the replicator can just be empty for now. So that way it's not printing to our output. Okay, for stand, we can just have this call. We're just going to do that. Okay. So let's start off in the client script. First, we want to grab a few things, like the user input service. The stand module, the player, and then the character. And the reason why I'm doing script parent here is because these will be automatically put under the character. And then two Boolean values. So one will be for the equipped, and one will be for posing. And I'm actually going to do this inside of a table instead. So local script values. And we're just going to pop these values inside of here. Make sure you don't forget to put these, otherwise it will just show up as an error if there isn't one before the next variable. The last one, it's not needed, but the ones before it, needed. See, if I just pop one above here and just name it something different, it works fine like that. The one below this will fail as soon as that happens. So it's just good memory to put that there, even if you're not gonna put something under it. So we got a nice little clean code working. We're gonna go ahead and start setting up a function. So first we're going to set up the M1 function. So, well, we're going to do combat, and we're going to pass through a bool value. And this will be for the is M2. And that'll be for the combat. We don't got to worry about that right now. So we're going to go ahead and do some of the code for it though. So we're going to check if it's M2. We got to check over here. Well, we can leave that there. And one main thing that we need for both of these things is if script value, now let's make this script values, dot equipped is equal to false. Or you could do if not, which will also check if it's false. Pretty handy. And then we can return end. Alright, after that's done, when M1 happens, we'll be calling something from the stand module. Right now we're not doing that. We also need one for posing and equipping the stand. So local function equip. Well, we can leave that one to just the user input function. The next one will be for the posing, so local function pose. And we're going to pass through a bool. No, we don't need a bool there. And then in that we need to check if script values dot equipped and just basically the same thing as the top. So if it's not equipped, we don't want to do anything. But if it is equipped, then we want to set pose. We want to set script values dot posing equal to not. Script values dot posing. And that'll set whatever this value is to whatever it's not equal to. So if this is true, it'll come out to be false. If it's false, it'll come out to be true. Nice little switch thing. Okay, after that, if it's posing, and then turn on and turn off. All those things that we're going to do inside the actual stand module. We're just prepping for it. And now we want to set up our user input functions, or our user input service functions. So .input began connect function. And once our input begins, we're going to take in two variables given to us by Roblox, input and the processed event. Processed means if they were typing in chat or messing with the player menu by Roblox, or if they clicked a button on a GUI, it would be processed instead. So if processed, then return end. That way it doesn't get stopped by or that way it gets stopped if you're using the menu or if you're typing. You don't want something to happen. Just imagine trying to talk to your friend and when you press Q and then you try to click out of chat, you press Q a minute ago, now the stand's out, you press click to close chat instead of enter and you just start a brawl. I'm kidding, that probably wouldn't happen. But still, it's something you want to avoid. So if processed, then we want to return end. So that way it doesn't even run. It just returns all the way to the bottom. AKA it just returns end. If you know how functions work, then you'll understand that. I'm not going to go into it because this isn't about that. So we want to check our input. If input.user input type is equal to enum.user input type mouse button 1, then we want to send combat and then false because it's not our M2. And then we want to just add an else if input.user input type is equal to enum.user input type dot mouse button 2, then we want to center that same function true. Since that's user input type, I don't want to add another else if to this because I'm using user input type that'll confuse me. So for the key codes, I'm going to do another statement because if it's not either one of these, it's just going to run all the way to this end part. It's still going to go past here. So I can add another one to check if it's the key code. So if it's a key press right here instead of up there to keep me from getting confused. So clicks or touches. Touches are for mobile users. I haven't added that in, but if you want that, or input dot user input type is equal to enum dot user input type dot touch would do the same for mobile users. That's why I've kind of set all these to functions in my old script. I don't have them in functions. I'm putting them there now, so if you use certain buttons and stuff in GUI for mobile users, I can just call this function the same way I call it here. Ease of access, but I'm going to remove this since I don't plan for it. But if anybody wants that, I can do it. And it's already set up to it, so I don't have to go through the hell of redoing it. So now we just want to check the key code. Input.keycode, if I can type today, is equal to enum.keycode. And for summoning, we're going to use Q. And then we also want to set up one for posing, and I'm going to use G for that. And there we go. And then we pretty much want to summon whenever they press Q. But we're going to do this in here instead of out of here. Actually, you know what the hell, let's do it in another function. So mobile users won't suffer if someone tries to set this up to that. That way no refactoring is needed, so I don't confuse people or make people not want to do it, because it can be really disencouraging. So we're going to set up function for equipping. And now know that it's not just for equipping, it'll also be for unequipping, because we're going to use another switch case here. So we're going to set script values dot equipped equal to, and I'm just going to copy this. And then if we're equipped, then else. And whenever you press Q, we can just do the equip function. And here we can just do the pose function. And now this is pretty much done. So it's pretty empty right now. It's not going to do anything. That's okay. We're only on the client side for right now. Ooh, let me check how long this video's ran for. 21 minutes. Ooh, I might have to cut it quit soon. Can't make it boring. Well, let's at least show you what it means. Let's show you some of the works of your efforts. So let's add some prints so you can see it working. Anyway, we're ready to go ahead and give this a test so you can see that everything's working so far. I would love to finish the client script in this video, but I don't know if I can. Uh-oh, we got one error. Always remember to make sure that you don't leave something where it shouldn't be. Otherwise, you'll have just an error pop up and you'll be confused. Minor issue. Okay, so if we click, nothing happens because it's not equipped. I'm pressing M1 and M2. I have equipped it. Now I can M1 and M2. Of course, there's no, cooldown, so I can just do that over and over. And then unequipped. I can't press G to pose. Equipped. Press G, I'm posing. Stop posing. Alright, I guess I should give you a teaser of what it looks like when it's complete. This is what we have so far. These animations aren't all mine. The equip, the idle, the equip and the idle and the unequip are mine. However, these combat animations aren't mine. I'll revamp them because I don't like them and I can animate decently. If you stuck through this, comment something. Alright, that's it for now. Peace.